And then the next biggest habit, honestly, in my opinion, is environment design. And biggest quote, like the best environment wins when you autopilot those habits.
So the main thing is we want to start from the bottom and kind of work our way up. So as you can see, mindset and environment are kind of the biggest pieces of this iceberg of success. So the higher you go up on this, the more investment and effort you're going to put in. So if you're relying on willpower all the time with your foods, if you're surrounded by foods that are very highly tempting, it's going to be really, really hard to stay on track. So we want to actually focus more on the environment mostly to lead us to success. So
yeah. And then another thing to break down your environment is your physical environment, your social environment, and the online environment. So for physical environment, that could be, what does your pantry look like? What does your fridge look like when you open it? Are there fresh fruits and vegetables cut up ready to go and lots of proteins pre-made? Or do you have meals prepped that you can just grab and go? Or are there more tempting foods that are right away when you see it? So just kind of taking an audit of that and seeing, okay, is this environment setting me up for success and where I want to go?
Yep.
The social environment would be when you go out with friends. Are they pressuring you to drink? Are they pressuring you to, oh, what, you can't have fun because you're on a diet? Like, they kind of give you a hard time about it. And so kind of seeing, okay, are these people, if I am trying to improve my healthy habits, are they someone I want to spend more time with, less time with? Maybe you can have a social group that goes running or walking and make that your social gathering. Just having a supportive environment around you really helps, especially in the social game.
One more thing on like the online presence is like, you know, we follow a lot of people, influencers and things like that. And there's a lot of people, you know, that scroll through TikTok and they see all these really delicious desserts and stuff like that. They get all these ideas from. You know, you might have heard the analogy where you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You can even go a step further and say that you're the sum of the 5 people you let influence you. So if you're constantly looking at online things, that's going to influence you one direction or the other. So one way to improve your environment is to start following more people that are living a lifestyle that you want to live, eating the way that you want to eat, you know, working out, things like that. Hopefully that's kind of what we're doing with our online presence, with this, you know, presentation, with the content that we put out. We want to try to be that influencer to you guys to make healthier decisions too.
Right, and then that kind of goes full circle with the community of like working with the Mint and making the healthy power bowls, trying to improve that social aspect so people can still go out and enjoy a meal with their friends.
Something that we really love, and it's very eye-opening, this is a paragraph from the book Atomic Habits. So what's very interesting is it says, when scientists analyze people who appear to have tremendous self-control, it turns out that those individuals aren't all that different from those who are actually struggling. So instead, disciplined people are better at structuring their lives in a way that doesn't require heroic willpower or self-control. So in other words, they spend less time in tempting situations. So I am no more disciplined with desserts as any of you. I just don't have that in my environment all the time. So, you know, if you put ice cream in front of me, like what Bethany said, I'm going to eat, you know, the most ice cream. And Katie knows this firsthand. Like, I love my Blizzards, but I'm not going to have ice cream in the freezer at all times, you know, a couple different flavors. We go out maybe once or twice a month to get one. So it's just setting up your environment for success.
Right. It's making the healthy choice the easy choice. That's a really cool mantra that I use in my head. You know, making those healthier choices easier and making the unhealthy choice harder. Yeah. So making it easy to make those right decisions that support your goals is, you know, it could be having those foods prepped and ready to go and just keeping those foods in your house and keeping the other tempting foods out of your house so that there's a little bit of a barrier. You know, he has to drive to Dairy Queen and go around construction and pay money to go and get a Blizzard. And it's like, oh, do I really want to go through the hassle when you're curled up at home versus if he just had it in his refrigerator at home, he could just walk to the cupboard, get out a bowl, scoop it out, and go sit back down. It's a lot easier to get that habit versus driving all the way there. There's a little bit of a barrier. So setting those barriers in between those bad habits that maybe you want to stop or do less of, then that way you have a little bit of time to think, maybe I really don't need the ice cream before you go and do it.
And just kind of the bottom line is you don't need to like wish you were a more disciplined person. You just have to set up your environment. You need to be a little bit more disciplined with your environment.